Alright, let's see if I remember how to vlog. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day one of the reading rush. I am very excited for this readathon. I've been looking forward to it since I started doing booktube, and yeah, I think it's going to be a very good week. I have some really exciting books picked out. I'm not going to tell you my TBR because it tends to change, so it'll be a surprise for both of us. Let's see. It is going to be a very interesting week. Orders have finally come through. Thank goodness. Nothing is confirmed yet, but at the moment it's looking like we are gonna, I will have a flight on August 5th to leave for Rhoda. So this is going to be my last full week in Wisconsin. So it's going to be a pretty busy week for me, probably boring vlog-wise, but it's going to be a busy week just trying to get all this stuff organized and ready and just taking care of everything that needs to be taken care of before I leave. So far this morning, all I've done is wake up, have a cup of coffee, take a shower, and now I'm right back in bed because of this little guy. This is Theo. He's my new kitty. And he's a little sick. He's double quarantined right now. He got some pneumonia at some point. He's doing really well. He's responding really well to the antibiotics. His fever's gone and he's eating again. So we're just gonna run him through the last few days of his antibiotics until hopefully all of his sneezing and everything goes away. But yeah, so he's currently stuck up in the bedroom so he doesn't give anything to my sister's cat, Mowgli. So yeah, probably be spending a decent amount of time just up in my room with him, chilling and reading, because that's what's important this week. So first book is this right here, Mexican Gothic. This is for, one of the prompts for the readathon was to read the first book that you touched, which obviously can be interpreted many different ways. How I took it was, obviously this is a book of the month book. So for my July book of the month box, I picked 3 books. I had 3 books selected, and Mexican Gothic was the one that was on the top. So first book I touched. Yeah, so we're gonna read that for that prompt, and hopefully it's good. It looks good. It looks like it's gonna be a very dark, thrillery type of book, which I'm excited about. Good book to cuddle up in bed with. Yeah, is it gonna be a good book? What do you think? Is it gonna be a good book? It's a good boy. Alright, it is a few hours later. I got a few chapters into Mexican Gothic. That's really good. Very nice atmospheric writing. I'm wondering if it's gonna be more paranormal. I thought it was gonna be a standard thriller, but it's got some kind of spooky elements to it, so I'm wondering if maybe that's the direction it's going. We shall see. For now though, I have ventured out in town and I'm gonna be getting some essentials for the trip. One main thing I need to get is, and I only just realized this morning, was the halter that we had for Jack when we left San Diego is gonna be way, way too big for Theo. So here to get a new halter for him, and then a couple other odds and ends that I'm gonna need for the trip. I like how in my last clip I definitely said essentials. I definitely said I was going into town for essential shopping like 2 or 3 times, I think. Yeah. In my defense, the halter lead thing for Theo that is essential, because I will need that. I will need that for the airport here in a couple weeks. Going to Kanoki's to get ice cream was not essential. Very good though. Very good. Also not essential was going to the bookstore. Okay, here's what happened though, okay? So, the store is called Shoutout Books, and it's here in Hudson. And apparently it's been here for years. I did not know it existed. I literally only just found out about it the other day when I was in town for something else. So I felt like I had to go and like check it out while I was here, since like I said, I don't know how I didn't know it existed. Yeah. Here, I'll show you. You want to see the books I got? I'll show you. I got Station 11, which was recently added onto my to-read list. This is the one where there is a devastating flu pandemic, and within weeks, civilization as we know it has come to an end. So, that's fun. No, but seriously, I do think it's very interesting. I am very interested in reading more pandemic books and more life as we know it changing type books. I think that's a fun premise right now. When did this come out? 2014. So, yeah. And then I also got a book. So when I go to bookstores, I try really hard to find new books that I've like never heard of before. Because I just think that's really a fun pastime, just wandering the bookstore and finding something completely new. And I watch so much, I get so many book recommendations through BookTube and whatnot these days that it's kind of hard for me to still do that, but here's what I found. I found The Van Gogh Deception. This is looks like a middle grade book, and it caught my eye because I love Van Gogh. He's one of my favorite artists. Starry Night is for sure my favorite painting, my favorite piece of artwork. Yeah, so it looks like it's a museum heist type story. And I did look it up on Goodreads. I do always, so any new book, when I do find new books at the bookstore before I buy them, I always check Goodreads and make sure they have at least like above a 3.5 or something rating. And this one had like a 4.2, so it's sold. Yeah, so that's what I did today. I'm gonna finish my ice cream and go home and pretend I didn't spend so much money. Alright, it is the next day. I'm about 2/3 of the way through Mexican Gothic, and it took a really, really dark, disturbing turn. So I volunteered to go get groceries for the week, to take a little break and clear my head of all the crazy from that book. Yeah. I'm still really enjoying it though. The protagonist is studying anthropology at college, which is what I studied at college, and so I'm really enjoying some of the little anthropological tidbits, like there's references to Margaret Mead, and I'm just like, I know who that is. I used to write papers about her. So that's cool. And then there's also a lot of very heavy or very strong theme throughout the book is the idea of superior and inferior races in regards to minorities and whatnot, which was an actual thing that anthropologists wrote serious academic papers on back in the 50s and even afterwards and before then, and it was a big deal. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that familiar aspect of it. All right, welcome to Sunday afternoon. Yep, it's the end of the readathon. Kind of got away from me a little bit, like they all seem to. I can't even use the excuse that I'm moving next week because Books with Shae is moving this week and she daily vlogged. So, no excuse. Let's see, where am I at? Currently, I've only finished 2 books so far, but I am really close to finishing more. Kinda, sorta. So I have less than an hour left on my audiobook, so definitely gonna be finishing that. I only have like 50 pages left in Mexican Gothic, so I can finish that one. It'll be hard because, as we mentioned before, it took a really, really dark, disturbing turn. And I'm kind of scared of the ending now. But I could finish that one. The prompt of reading a book that you've already watched the movie for. I tweaked it a little bit because, to be honest, when I thought about that prompt, the only thing that I could think of that would fit was Lord of the Rings. And we're not doing that. So I tweaked it a little bit to match TV show, because I love Agatha Christie. Love Agatha Christie. And I've watched pretty much every Masterpiece Theater remake of her books that have been made. And while I've read quite a few of her Miss Marple books, I have not read any of the Poirot books before. So, we got The Mysterious Affair at Styles, which is the first one. And yeah, so that's what I'm reading for that. And this will probably be my last update for today. I'm just gonna read. I've done everything I need to get done today. I've got like 6 hours. Just gonna read and read and read until midnight, see how far I get. And then in the morning I'll update you with what all I got accomplished. What you doing, bud? Are you having a good nap? Hey, baby, come here. Oh, sweet boy. No, sweet boy. Good morning. It is Monday after the reading rush, and as promised, I'm here with my quick little wrap up of what all I got read, which, spoiler, wasn't a lot, but that's okay. Any reading is good reading, as they say. So, start off, I did complete one audiobook this week. It was Dear Girls by Ali Wong. This book was basically her memoir. It's written in a style of she's writing letters to her young daughters and just giving them life advice and her experience in the entertainment world. And it was really good. It was very funny. Good. I rated it 5 stars. I thought it was really well thought out. And I thought it was definitely a no holds barred kind of a book. Like, she seemed to really bear all and be very upfront and straightforward with her experiences and her life, and I respected that. It was really good. I thought that was a really good book. And that was for the prompt of reading a genre that you wish you read more of, which, like every good basic reader, I wish I read more nonfiction. Yeah, so that was for that. Next one that I completed was reading a book that it's The Color of Your Birthstone. I'm born in April, which is the diamond. So I went with this book, Great Goddesses. I'm not getting a great... It's a very shiny book when the sun is cooperating, but it's primarily white, and then it's got this great gold foiling on it as well that makes it super shiny. It's based on Greek mythology and the kind of life lessons that can be learned from these Greek myths that have been around for ages and ages and ages. And I thought it was a very interesting some of them were very well reimagined. Some of them were very interesting takes on these classic stories. I rated it 4 stars. To be honest with you, I don't read a lot of poetry. This is probably the first poetry book I've read. Honestly, this is probably the first poetry book I've read that was like of my own volition. Like, I've read poetry in the past for school and for like English class and whatnot. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first book I've read that was just not a homework assignment, that was poetry. So for that reason, because I'm not very well versed in poetry and its nuances, I'm also not that up to date on Greek mythology in general. I think some of the more subtler nuances of this book kind of were lost on me. So for that reason, it was a 4-star read for me. Next, the book that I read for the prompt of reading a book starting with the word "the," I did The Boy in the Red Dress by, who's this by? Christina Lambert. This was just a fun read. It wasn't super deep. It didn't have, at least I didn't feel like it had any like undertones, any subtler meaning to be chipped out of it. It was just a fun, light, easy read, perfect for this week. I should have had more of these for... You want to have more of these for a readathon. At least I do. I'm finding as I do more of these. This girl Millie works at a 1920s speakeasy obviously during the Prohibition era. Basically just a light... That sounds awful. It's a murder mystery, but it's still light. I don't really know how to describe that. But yeah, it was a fun read. I rated it 4 stars. And lastly, yesterday I read No One is Too Small to Make a Difference. This book, this little guy, it's like just over 100 pages. It packed a punch, I'm not gonna lie. It's just a collection of speeches from this girl Greta, who is a schoolgirl in Sweden who decides to go on school strikes to protest the lack of awareness towards climate change. I strongly encourage everybody to go read this. It's very short. It took me like less than an hour to read. I don't know how to describe this, because like I said, it's basically just a collection of speeches, and it starts to get, about midway you feel like it's getting repetitive, because she's essentially repeating the same speech over and over again to all these different, like, Parliament and Congress and EU rallies and whatnot. And then as soon as you have, at least for me, as soon as I had that thought that this is kind of repetitive, I almost instantly had the thought, it's kind of horrifying that this is repetitive, because there's this 16-year-old girl saying the same things over and over again and having to repeat herself because no one is listening. And that's scary. Yeah, so I strongly urge everyone to read this. It was a 5-star read for me. Do it. And yeah, that was my reading rush. I had a couple other books that I started but did not finish in time, and that's fine. I'll get to them eventually. And yeah, but yeah, I had a really fun time. It was a really good week. I really enjoyed getting back into the process of vlogging. I haven't done any vlogs in quite a while. June kind of took over my mental capacity, I guess you'd say. But it was really fun to get back into vlogging, and I'm looking forward to doing more.